أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه الأخيار. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We continue with the lessons on Balāgha. Again, when you look at this topic here, you realize that it's not in our old material. With the copy of the Sharh of Ibn Taymiyyah, you realize that this particular topic that we are going to read is still not in there. So we are using the other copy that I shared. That is Al-Bab al-Khamis in the other copy, which is Fil Itlaq والتقييد. That still has to do with the word order, Ilmul Ma'ani. Now, what you can do is, if you have the original copy of the previous book, the book we are using currently, then you could print the topics that are missing from here and add it to and fix it inside the copy that the topic is missing from. So we are going to be looking at the Al-Itlaq والتقييد, a very important topic. You realize that it is still an upper nahu, as I said, when we start to go into the topic, inshallah. So he says, Al-Bab al-Khamis fil Itlaq والتقييد. Basically, as a language, when we say Itlaq, it is the verbal noun from Atlaqa. You know, the masdar of Af'ala is If'al. Af'ala is If'al. So Atlaqa, Itlaq. And when we say Atlaqa, bimana to free something. Atlaqa, mana to free it or to release it. والتقييد is also on the meter taf'il. When you look at the verb meters, you realize that it is the verbal noun for fa'ala. The verbal noun becomes taf'il. So taqyid is coming from the verb qayyada, and qayyada is to lock something up, to close something up. So when he says fil itlaqi wa taqyid, yani freeing and locking, or freeing and confining. Jamil. And we would understand why these names for these concepts, inshallah. He says إذا اقتصر في الجملة على ذكر المسند والمسند إليه، أو إذا اقتصر في الجملة على ذكر المسند والمسند إليه فالحكم مطلق. If you have a jumla, now we all know what the musnad and musnad ilayhi is. So you have a jumla that is just made up of the mubtada and the khabar, or a jumla that is just made up of the fi'l and the fa'il. Jamil. That is just your musnad and musnad ilayhi. It doesn't have the fadla. It doesn't have any surplus attached to it. In such a case, the ruling of the jumla is mutlaq. So I tell you, al-waladu tawilun. I don't add any surplus to the sentence. Just mubtada and khabar. Aw ya'kulu al-waladu. Khalas. The sentence is mutlaq. Why do we say it is mutlaq? Mutlaq here bimana, the sentence is not confined. It's not restricted. Because when I say al-waladu tawilun, the tool of the walad, I could describe it, right? The tool of the wallet, I could give it a time. I could limit it. يعني طويل بين زملائه. Jamil. I could put it something like that. So the moment I add some surplus, it will restrict this meaning that I've already given. So when I don't add the surplus, then it means that the boy is tall. mutlaqan, yani. There is no description to the tall, whether it is among his colleagues, whether it is he's tall in his family or anything of the sort. And when I say ya'kulul waladu, I don't bring a maf'ulun bihi, I don't bring a masdar, which is the maf'ul mutlaq, I don't bring the maf'ulun fihi, that is the zarf zaman or zarf al-makan. I don't bring any of these things. Now, when I do the sentence like that, ya'kulul waladu, then the sentence we say it is mutlaq, because it could, what is he eating, Jamil? What time is he eating? What kind of eating is he doing? All that doesn't come. So when I say ya'kulul walad, the ruling of the sentence is mutlaq. And then listen, he says, وَإِذَا زِيدَ عَلَيْهِمَا شَيْءٌ. If something is added to the musnad, a musnad ilayhi, مِمَّا يَتَعَلَّقُ بِهِمَا, that has a relationship to the two of them, that has a link to the two of them. أَوْ بِأَحَدِهِمَا, or is linked to one of them, فَالْحُكْمُ مُقَيَّد. The ruling becomes muqayyad. Just as I was saying, so you have these South Sudanese very tall people, right? Let's say you say that such a person, you say that me, for instance, say Redwan Tawilun. Of course, when Redwan goes into the South Sudanese, he is qasirun jiddan. So if I say Redwan Tawilun, the ruling, the hukm here is mutlaq. And why do we give these rulings? That is the most important, not just knowing the description of the sentence, mutlaq or muqayyad. It is said that when you go into Sharia, right, and something is said to be haram or halal, you look at the sentence. Maybe they tell you, al-aklu haramun. For instance, eating is haram. This kind of ruling in Sharia is mutlaq. Bimana, it is all kinds of eating at all times. Everything comes under this. But when I say al-aklu fi nahari Ramadan, al-aklu fi nahari Ramadana haramun. Now you see, al-aklu haramun fi nahari Ramadana. Now I've done the ruling muqayyad. I've restricted it. So when you see Sharia rulings, this guy has to be able to tell, is this ruling here mutlaq or is it muqayyad? Jamil. And then he says, وَالْإِطْلَاقُ يَكُونُ حَيْثُ لَا يَتَعَلَّقُ الْغَرَضُ بِتَقْيِيدِ الْحُكْمِ بِوَجْهٍ مِنَ الْوُجُوهِ. So he says that the itlaq here, يَكُونُ حَيْثُ لَا يَتَعَلَّقُ الْغَرَضُ. The purpose of your statement is not linked to any specific gharad. It's not restricted to any specific thing. Jamil. لا يتعلق الغرض, the purpose of your statement, بتقييد الحكم بوجه من الوجوه. You are not restricting it to, you are not restricting the ruling to any particular phase, like type, time, place, and order. You are not restricting the ruling. ليذهب السامع فيه كل مذهب ممكن. So just as I said, I say something like al-ghishu haramun. Al-ghishu haramun. This is mutlaq. But when I say al-ghishu haramun bayna al-muslimin, al-ghishu haramun fi nahar, al-ghishu haramun, then I give it a description, then I'm restricting the ruling, taking it out of general to specific, right? The more you add surplus to the sentence, the more you make it specific. The more you don't add any surplus to the sentence, the more it is general. So he says, والتقييد حيث يتعلق الغرض بتقييده بوجه مخصوص. When we say taqyid, that is you restricting the ruling to a particular thing or to a particular time. Yani you are making it specific. لو لم يراعى تفوت الفائدة المطلوبة. لو لم يراعى تفوت الفائدة المطلوبة. If you don't pay attention to that taqyid, then the benefit or the meaning that you want to convey tafut, it's missing. Again, how? Like when I say, I want to tell you that eating in the afternoon of Ramadan is haram, right? So I should say al-aklu haramun, that is mubtada and khabar, right? The musnad ilayhi and the musnad. Then the taqyid should come. Yani fi nahari Ramadana should come. But the moment I take out this, the qaid, the moment I take out the qaid, which is, I remember in one of the lessons we mentioned that the qaid is the fadla, right? The fadla is the qaid. So the moment I don't pay attention to this qaid fi nahari Ramadan, that statement I said, the meaning of it becomes useless. So how do you say al-aklu haram? It doesn't make any sense, right? So it says, وَلِتَفْصِيلِ هَذَا الْإِجْمَالِ نَقُولُ. Now, what he has told us now is mujmal. And it is large, it's compound. It's now going to break it down into specifics. So that we are going to see the tafsil of whatever he has said. It says, إن التقييد يكون بالمفاعيل. If you want to do qaid of any sentence, it could be through the mafa'il. I told you that the maf'ul is not just maf'ul bihi. You know the beginner Arabic, normally when we do the beginner Arabic, we just see the maf'ul bihi. We see only the maf'ul bihi, right? And so everybody, most of the beginner students, they feel like the maf'ul bihi is the only maf'ul that there is. There are a lot of mafa'il. And the mafa'il, you can have maf'ul bihi, maf'ul lahu, that is maf'ul li ajlihi. You can have maf'ul fihi, which is the zarf zaman, zarf al-makan. And then you have maf'ul ma'ahu as well. So he says the taqeed, you can do the qaid with the al-mafa'il. وَنَحْوِهِمَا, and anything like the mafa'il. وَالنَّوَاسِخ as well. We did the nawasikh in Nahu recently. We've done it already in Nahu al-Wadi and the sharh of the Ajrumiyya that we did the book of Ibn Uthaymin, and even this At-Tuhfat al-Saniyya. And nawasikh, as we said, we have the inna wa akhwatuha, ken wa akhwatuha, and then we have zanna wa akhwatuha, and even plus. The nawasikh as well, they are used for taqyid al-jumla or taqyid al-hukm. Then we have a shart, as you know, is in, and all those adawat al-shart, they are also used for taqyid. And then nafi as well, negation, is also used for taqyid. And then at-tawabi', that is the na'at, badal, atf, nasak, and atful, all those tawabi', they are also used for taqyid. So again, don't let it be lost on you as we go on. The taqyid is you confining the meaning of or the ruling that is contained in the sentence. So when I say kana, that is of the nawasikh, kana ar-rajulu qawiyan. Yani ar-rajulu qawiyun is am. I don't give a time, I don't give any specifics. But when I say kana, I mean that the man is strong, but that was in the past, right? So we use nawasikh as well for the taqyid. It says amma al-mafa'ilu. As for the mafa'il wa nahwiha, the mafa'il and their likes, he says فالتقييد بها يكون لبيان نوع الفعل. يعني as for the mafa'il and their likes, their taqyid, you doing taqyid with them, يكون لبيان نوع الفعل. You use it to explain the type of فعل أو ما وقع عليها. So basically, let's say I say ضربت الولد ضرب الأسد. I beat the boy the beating of a lion. You know, I use the darb to, which is maf'ul mutlaq, to explain the type. أو ما وقع عليه, or it is the maf'ul can be used to show the one that received the action. يعني ضرب الأستاذ, that is the musnad and musnad ilayhi. Then I bring the maf'ul bihi al-walada. ضرب الأستاذ الولد. مفعول به أي ما وقع عليه. أو فيه, that is the ظرف الزمان ظرف المكان. جميل. ضرب الأستاذ الولد نهارا. ضرب الأستاذ ولد ليلا. Or anything of the sort. سبحان الذي أسرى بأبده ليلا. So the مفعول فيه is also used to show when the action occurred and in which place. أو لأجله, or it is also used to show why the action is done, like kumtu ihtiraman lil ustaz. So this ihtiraman is maf'ul li ajlihi, shows why you did the qiyam. Jamil. Then we have bimuqaranatihi, yani maf'ulun ma'ahu, sirtu wa shamsa. Think we looked at all these things, this mafa'il, that is maf'ulun ma'ahu. Aw bayan al mubham min al hay'a, or using it to explain the mubham min al hay'a, which will be the hal. Anything that is used to explain the mubham min al-hay'a. Yani ja'a ar-rajulu, the man came. You want to show how the nature of his coming. Then you say ja'a ar-rajulu musri'an. Ja'a ar-rajulu rajilan. He came on foot. It shows the hay'a. Jamil. Aw that, ay bayan al-mubham min al-that. When you are using a word to clarify a that which is a being, in a sentence, then that particular, the word you use for that is the at-tamyiz. Where you have ishtaraytu kilo, then you say something like kilo asiran, ishtaraytu kilo urzan. So you bring a word to show the zat because it is mubham. The sentence becomes mubham. I bought a kilo of what? You need to show me the thing, the substance that you bought a kilo of. أو بيان عدم شمول الحكم. Or sometimes you need to bring something to show that the ruling doesn't encompass everybody. Well, you can bring an adjective. You can bring a lot of words to show specifically, like a na'at and all that, to show specifically what the ruling applies to. If it is a rajulu, is it just every rajul or rajulun tawilun or all that needs to be clarified. وَتَكُونُ الْقُيُودُ مَحَطَّ الْفَائِدَةِ. You see, when you have a jumla, the benefit lies in the qaid that you bring. The benefit of the jumla lies in the qaid. So when you don't pay attention to the qaid, the meaning, you lose the meaning. Yani, when you have a whole hadith, a whole ayah, you are looking at the musnad ilayhi. If there are any, what's it called? The qaid, if there are any quyud there, you pay attention to them because those are where we call the mahatt al-fa'ida, yani where the meaning is stationed. وَالْكَلَامُ بِدُونِهَا كَاذِبًا. This is very important. Al-kalam bidun al-quyudi كاذبًا. The statements that have the qaid, if a statement has the qaid, and you bring that statement without the qaid, the statement can either be كاذبًا, yani a lie, أو غير مقصود بالذات, or not intended. It will give the meaning that you don't intend. And the best example is the verse that he brings here. Look at it. He says, وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا لَاعِبِينَ. Pay attention to this word لَاعِبِينَ. Take it out there and see the meaning that you are going to get. You're going to get وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا. Yani we did not create the heavens and the earth and what is in between the two. That will be the meaning if you don't bring the la'ibin. Yani what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to communicate is that we didn't create this for fun. Yani we didn't create the heaven and earth and what lies in between the two for nothing. So the la'ibin, the whole sentence, the meaning of it depends on the la'ibin, which is the qaid. If you don't bring it, khalas, the whole meaning, the ayah, the part of the ayah that you bring now becomes either a lie or becomes غير مقصود, not what is intended. All right, Jamil. And then he says, now with this, if you see other verses, I'm sure now you'll be paying attention to all this stuff. It says, وَأَمَّا النَّوَاسِخُ فَالتَّقْيِيدُ بِهَا يَكُونُ لِلْأَغْرَادِ التي تؤديها معاني الألفاظ النواسخ الاستمرار. As for the nawasikh, which is the كان وأخواتها, إن وأخواتها, you have the ظن وأخواتها, and then there are other أفعال القلوب, أفعال المقاربة, أفعال, we have a lot of them like that we've seen in Nahu, some of them. It says, as for the nawasikh فالتقييد بها يكون للأغراض التي تؤديها معاني ألفاظ النواسخ الاستمرار. You see, then the nawasikh themselves, we gave their meanings, right? We said كان, it shows ماضي, and sometimes it shows istimrar. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. It doesn't mean Allah was oft forgiving and merciful and no more. Yani he was and is still. So kana sometimes means madi and it sometimes gives the fa'idah of istimrar. The meaning that the nawasikh they give, that is the qaid of the jumla. It says awali hikaya. So he says that maani alfaz and nawasikh kal istimrar. The first one is like istimrar. Like when I say ma zala al waladu huna, yani the boy is still here. Ma zala al waladu huna. Ma zala is part of the nawasikh, right? Ma zala al waladu maridan. The boy is still sick. The qaid al waladu maridun, the original sentence, then I bring the qaid ma zala to show that he is still. So the meaning of the whole sentence lies in the ma zala. If you take the ma zala out, you've taken the qaid out, and you've made the sentence from muqayyad to mutlaq. and the meaning is completely lost. أو الحكاية عن الزمن, or sometimes you are giving حكاية عن الزمن, يعني you are using the qaid to give حكاية عن الزمن, like the kana we just talked about. The kana shows ماضي. So when I say كان الولد مريضا, the boy was sick, so you are expecting that now he's not sick, so it gives حكاية, narration about the past. If you look at stories, for instance, كنا أو كان الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم جالسا يوما, أو كان الصحابة يجلسون كذا كذا كذا, أو you hear the كان كنا, جميل, to show حكاية عن الزمن الماضي, جميل. والتوقيت and timing, the قيد sometimes is the timing, بزمن معين, for specific time. في ظل, when you look at the ظل, which is part of the nawasik as well, ظل, and you look at bata, you talked about ظل, which is to remain in the afternoon, right? And then bata, which is to remain in the evening. Like I say, bata al-misbahu muttaqidan, the lamp remained lighted. But this remained, anybody that knows Arabic, the moment he hears the bata, he knows it is throughout the night. It is the night period. Jamil. It says wa asbaha, to become, but you know that, as we said, it has the meaning of as-subh, and sabah, in the morning. So asbaha means to become, but then we know the time factor in there, which is in the morning. Amsa as well, to become, but the time factor is masa, in the evening. And then adha, which is waqt duha, that waqt duha now is around the 5:50, 6:10 thereabout, where the rakatain of duha is prayed. أو بحالة معينة في دامة, or the qaid could be showing you a particular situation. When we use the dama, you know, comes with madama, right? So we say something like madama al-waladu maridan. The madama shows you the hala, a condition, a specific condition for a particular period. So that will be the qaid when madama comes. So I say madama al-waladu huna sa'af'al kaza kaza kaza. The qaid lies in the madama. Yani the qaid doesn't lie in al-waladu huna, the boy is here. It lies in so long as the boy is here, that situation, that hala muayyana. So long as he's here, I will not eat. Or so long as he's here, I will not do that. Jamil. And then wal muqaraba fi kada. We call them af'al al muqaraba. The kada, karaba, awshaka. They mean almost. Almost. Awshaka al waladu an yasquta. Awshaka al waladu yasquta. The boy almost fell. Awshaka. Karaba, bimana almost, the same thing. Kada, the same thing. Inna sa'ata atiyatun akadu ukhfiha, as we see in the Quran. I'm almost revealing it. So these verbs, they also show muqaraba. When you use them, it shows that something is almost happening. And then we have the yaqeen, af'alul yaqeen, which is the wajada. Alfa or dara. Alfa, we find it's almost in the story of Sayyidina Yusuf, right? Alayhi salam, and Sayyidatuna Zulaykha. It says, فَأَلْفَ يَا سَيِّدَهَا لَدَى الْبَابِ. They met to alpha, manner to find, like the wajada, the same meaning. Jamil, dara, the same meaning. I need to find something. Adri, yani I know. Wajadtu, yani I found it. All these they show yaqeen. وتعلم, يعني تعلمت كذا. تعلمت الصلاة مفيدة, يعني something that you've learned and known. And then وحلوم مجرة. So the nawasikh, they are not the main focus of the al-itlaq and then al-taqeed, but then they are very important aspects that one should know. It says فالجملة في هذا, the jumla in these situations تنعقد من الاسم والخبر. You find this jumla coming with ism and the khabar. Yani when you use the nawasikh, of course we said the nawasikh, they come into contact with jumla ismiya, right? So the jumla in these cases, they come with the ism and the khabar. Yani ismu kana, ismu kaza, ismu mazala, and then all that. And then is khabar. أو من المفعولين, or from مفعولين من المفعولين فقط. So you see something like ظننت الرجل. You know, we talked about ظن وأخواتها. When they come into the jumla ismiya, they make the mubtada and the khabar, both of them, they make them maf'ul al-awwal and then al-maf'ul al-thani. So we have the zanantu, zanna wa akhwatuha, they make the ism and the khabar, they make both of them maf'ul al-awwal and maf'ul al-thani. So he says that kana wa akhwatuha, their jumla is made up of the kana, the nawasikh, and the ism and the khabar, right? But when you come to zanantu, zanna wa akhwatuha, the jumla is made up of zanna, fa'il, maf'ul al-awwal, and then maf'ul al-thani. So you see something like this. فَإِذَا قُلْتَ ظَنَنْتُ زَيْدًا قَائِمًا, I thought Zayd was standing. فَمَعَنَاهُ, the meaning of such is زَيْدٌ قَائِمٌ عَلَى وَجْهِ الظَّنِّ. So when I say ظَنَنْتُ زَيْدًا قَائِمًا, it means that Zayd, it doesn't mean qat'iyan that Zayd is standing, right? It means that I thought Zayd is standing. I thought Zayd is standing. Now, when you look in the text of the Sharia, any of the texts, Hadith, Fiqh, or any of the scholars' texts, or any of the texts at all, Quran, and you forget this qaid and you go just focusing on Zayd qa'im and you make your ruling, you know, you've done a very great harm, because zan لا تفيد اليقين. ظن لا يغني من الحق شيئا. إن الظن لا يغني من الحق شيئا. جميل. says وأما الشرط فالتقييد به يكون للأغراض التي تؤديها معاني أدوات الشرط كالزمان في متى. When you come to the shart, the qaid there is also found in the meanings that the adawat shart they give. Sometimes some of these we shouldn't take much time, but most of the people, when you tell them they have to do the nahu, do this, do that before they get here, it's quite difficult. Not everybody pays attention. So sometimes we brush on it a little bit. So when you look at the shart, you are using mata. You are introducing mata into a sentence, ayana into a sentence. Then you have to know mata, what fa'ida does mata give? What fa'ida does ayana give? With that, then you can know the qaid of the sentence, which is the mahatt al-fa'ida. So he says that the adawat shart, some of them, kazaman, they give time, they give the meaning of time, which is mata, ayana, right? And then makan, which is fi aina. You find it in aina. Aina tufidul makan. Anna as well tufidul makan. Haythuma tufidul makan. والحال في كيفما. And then also in terms of condition at the adawat shart, we use حال, we use كيفما to show حال. يعني كيفما تمشي أمشي. And however you walk, I walk like that. This is to show حال. واستيفاء ذلك وتحقيق الفرق بين الأدوات يذكر في علم النحو. As I said, you know, the meanings of all these adawat shart and all that, يذكر في علم النحو. It is mentioned in the علم النحو, not in the علم البلاغة. Balāgha doesn't have time explaining all these things because it's an upper nahu, right? Jamil says وإنما يفرق ها هنا بين إن وإذا ولو. The focus of the al-mutlaq wal-muqayyad is on these three adawat shart, in, إذا, and لو. لاختصاصهما بمزايا تعد من وجوه البلاغة. Because these three, so the mutlaq and muqayyad that we are doing, the main focus comes on in, إذا, and لو. Why? Because of some mazaya that they have. Mazaya, when we say mazaya, that is the jamu of maziyya. When we say maziyatun, that is some peculiarity. So I have my maziyya over another person. The other person also has his maziyya over me. They have something that sets them apart, that is peculiar with them. Jamil, in the Sharia or ilm al-usul, you'll be hearing mostly al-maziyatu or al-mazaya la taqtadi al-afdaliyya. That is what they mean. If you have some particular peculiarity, that doesn't make you afdal minni. Jamil, if she says this thing has this particular peculiarity, is like this, is giving this virtue in the Quran and in the Hadith, and it doesn't make it afdal automatically من غيره. So you hear them say المزايا لا تقتضي الأفضلية. That is on the side of it. So the focus is on these three because they have some mazaya that is seen to have some balagha essence. So balagha pays attention to these three. He says فإن وإذا للشرط في الاستقبال. In either they are used for condition في الاستقبال, يعني something that is to come, future. So if you see in and either as adawat al-shart being used, then the matter is to be happening in the future. وَلَوْ and the low للشرط في المضي. The low is used for condition in the past. Says وَالْأَصْلُ, based on this, that in and either are for istiqbal and low is for مضي. مضي بمعنى ماضي. Then الأصل في اللفظ أن يتبع المعنى فيكون فعلا مضارعا مع in وإذا. In that case, then if in and إذا should be فعل مضارع because it's مستقبل, right? وماضيا مع لو, and لو should come with فعل ماضي because it is for مضي. نحو وإن يستغيثوا يغاثوا بماء كالمهل. And if they should seek something to drink, then they will be given molten brass as water to drink. So you see, in يستغيثوا فعل مضارع, يغاثوا بماء كالمهل. So this is the asl based on the meaning that we have, but it's not always the case though. And when you look at this bait, they bring the ashatr thani, that is the ajz al-bayt. The sadr al-bayt says that, he says وَالنَّفْسُ رَاغِبَةٌ إِذَا رَغَّبْتَهَا وَإِذَا تُرَدُّ إِلَى قَلِيلٍ تَقْنَعُ. This just looks like the bayt of the Imam Busayri's poem where he says وَالنَّفْسُ كَالطِّفْلِ إِن تُهْمِلُهُ شَبَّ عَلَى حُبِّ الرَّضَى وَإِن تَفْتِمُهُ يَنْفَطُمِ. The nafs, the human self, if you seek to let it desire something, it will desire it. وَالنَّفْسُ رَاغِبَةٌ إِذَا رَغَّبْتَهَا. If you make it like it, it will like it. Yani, you are not somebody that likes partying and all that, but you want to get yourself used to it, your nafs will follow you. But if you turn it to go for little, the nafs would also get used to that. Yani, you train your nafs to stick to little. Just like we will be eating all year round in Ramadan, all of a sudden we are eating just a little and we are okay. The nafs, you can control it. If you leave it to just be flowing in the world, it has its own way of harming you. So if you look here, you see that the bayt says وَإِذَا تُرَدُّ إِذَا فعل مضارع, right? He doesn't bring the shatr al-awwal because that's it says وَالنَّفْسُ رَاغِبَةٌ إِذَا رَغَّبْتَ, إِذَا and فعل ماضي. But he wants to show us where it comes with فعل مضارع. That's why he brings the shatr al-sani that has the وَإِذَا تُرَدُّ, which is the فعل مضارع coming after إِذَا. So we see فعل مضارع coming after in the verse, right? And then we see فعل مضارع coming after إذا in the shatr thani of the bayt. And then we look at the law. It says وَلَوْ شَاءَ لَهَدَاكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. If he wanted, he would have guided all of you together. وَلَوْ شَاءَ. So law here also comes with فعل ماضي. So he's just giving us examples على الأصل. Jamil, on the asl of the manner that in and iza, they are for mustaqbal and law is for mudhi. They are giving us how it should originally come. Jamil. Now, he says, وَالْفَرْقُ بَيْنَ, the most important part that we want to focus on, he says, وَالْفَرْقُ بَيْنَ إِن وَإِذَا أَنَّ الْأَصْلَ عَدَمُ الْجَزْمِ بِوُقُوعِ الشَّرْطِ مَعَ إِن. This is the most important thing we would all want to focus on. Even if you didn't hear anything at all, this part is very important. When you use the in, right, it gives the fa'idah of adamul jazmi biwuku'i shart. So I say, Insha'Allah. Yani, I am not giving you for sure that this is going to happen. Allah will. That's why we use Insha'Allah. We don't say Idha Sha'Allah. We use the in for something we are expecting, but we are not sure it is going to happen. والجزم بوقوعه مع إذا, and we use either for something, for a condition that we know is to happen. You see, إذا جاء نصر الله, right? والفتح, it means that the Nasr Allah would come, the Fath would come by virtue of the either. The in gives the Adamul Jazmi. Jazm bimana, you taking the final decision, like you being sure that it will happen. So when you use in as adawat al-sharat, or you see it being used anywhere in the text, it is for the atawakko. You are expecting the thing to happen, but you're not sure it's going to happen. Either is when the sharat is going to happen. Jamil. So you are sick and I say, in shufita. Okay? If you get well, that is not a good one. It means I don't expect you to get well. Either shufita, yani, if you are healed. That is how it's supposed to be. ولهذا غلب استعمال الماضي مع إذا. And so إذا, you find it mostly being used with فعل ماضي. Because of what? Because there is al-jazmu biwuku' al-shart. We know that the shart, the condition, is definitely going to happen. So we use the fi'l madi, past tense, to signify that the thing has happened. Pay attention to this. Normally when somebody dies and we are praying for the person, we use fi'l madi a lot. Say rahimallahu, rahimahullah. Rahimahullah literally means Allah has had mercy on him. We use this sigha in the dua to show that we are sure he has gained the mercy of God. As the hadith says, Ana inda zanni abdi bi. Right? I am as my servant thinks of me. So if you are thinking of God as very wicked and all that, that is how God is. If you are thinking of God as loving and all that, that is how God is. So in the prayer, you see that we use a lot of fi'l madi as if it has been done. That is the same thing. Idha ja'a. Ja'a means came. As if we know for sure it will come. So we are just making it look like it has even happened. فَكَأَنَّ الشَّرْطَ وَاقِعٌ بِالْفِعْلِ, as if the condition has happened for sure. بِخِلَافِ in, as against in, which doesn't give that meaning. Jamil says, فَإِذَا قُلْتَ, if you say, for instance, in أَبْرَأُ in أَبْرَأ مِنْ مَرَضِي أَتَصَدَّقْ بِأَلْفِ دِينَارٍ. If you say in abra min maradi, if I heal from my sickness, atasaddaq bi alf dinarin, I will give sadaqah of 1,000 dinars. The moment you use the in, what does it mean? It means kunta shakyan fil bar aw fil bur. It means you are doubting that you will even get well. You are not sure the healing, the abra, the bur is going to happen. وإذا قلت إذا برئت من مرضي تصدقت. If you say if I heal, when I heal from my sickness, so إذا will be when. When I heal from my sickness, I will give sadaqah. كنت جازما به أو كالجازم. You become somebody that is sure of the fact that you will be healed, or you are like somebody that is sure. Jamil, you are not sure, but you are like somebody that is sure. Now, that is this part of the إطلاق and تقييد is the most important part of the dars. Jamil. So, and then he says, وعلى ذلك فالأحوال النادرة تذكر في حيز إن. And so based on these understandings, the al-ahwal al-nadira, situations that are rare, al-nadira bimana, it is rare. Something that is rarely going to happen or something like that, it is mentioned fi hayyiz in. It is mentioned in the under the umbrella of in. Wal kathiratu fi hayyiz idha. And things that are likely to happen a lot. Things that are likely to happen, we mention it under the condition of either. وَمِنْ ذَلِكَ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى. And from that we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's statement, فَإِذَا جَاءَتْهُمُ الْحَسَنَةُ قَالُوا لَنَا هَذِهِ. When goodness comes to them, they say, لَنَا هَذِهِ. This is for us. فَإِذَا جَاءَتْهُمُ الْحَسَنَةُ قَالُوا لَنَا هَذِهِ. وَإِن تُصِبْهُمْ سَيِّئَةٌ يَطَّيَّرُوا بِمُوسَى وَمَن مَّعَهُ. When a bad thing happens to them, يَطَّيَّرُوا بِمُوسَى, they now cast it upon Musa. and وَمَنْ مَعَهُ. They say it is Moses and whoever is with him that are causing this bad stuff to us. Now look at it. Al-Hasana, the al there, we've seen the at-ta'rif wa tankir. I hope you don't forget the types of al that we have. We have al-ahdiyya, right? We have al-jinsiyya. This al here is al-jinsiyya. Al-hasanata. فَإِذَا جَاءَتْهُمُ الْحَسَنَةُ. Yani every kind of goodness, even the air we are breathing is a goodness from God Almighty. Everything that you are alive, you are throwing your hands, all that is a blessing. So hasana being something that happens like almost every second, it uses فَإِذَا جَاءَتْهُمُ الْحَسَنَةُ لِأَنَّهُ وَاقِعٌ لَا مَحَالَةَ. They say this is for us. But then look at the musiba or the sayyi'ah. The sayyi'ah here that is being referred to is barrenness, right? That is barrenness of the land. And then he says, وَإِن تُصِبْهُمْ سَيِّئَةٌ, because it's rarely going to happen. It's not something that happens like always. So وَإِن تُصِبْهُمْ سَيِّئَةٌ يَطَّيَّرُوا بِمُوسَى وَمَنْ مَعَهُ. Jamil. Says فَلِكَوْنِ مَجِيءِ الْحَسَنَةِ مُحَقَّقًا, because the hasana is something that is happening, لَا مَحَالَةَ. إِذِ الْمُرَادُ بِهَا, because what is intended with hasana here is مُطْلَقُ الْحَسَنَةِ, any good at all. الشامل لأنواع كثيرة, that it has a lot of types. Hasana is everything. Even me sitting here explaining stuff and all that, it is also part of the hasana. Everything is hasana. Knowledge, sense, everything is hasana. So hasana la mahala, it will happen. So he can say وَإِن جَاءَتْهُمُ الْحَسَنَةُ. No, it has to be وَإِذَا جَاءَتْهُمُ الْحَسَنَةُ. But the sayyi'ah says كما يفهم من التعريف بال-الجنسية, as it is understood from the usage of the al-jinsiyya in the al-hasana. ذُكِرَ مَعَ إِذَا, and so it was mentioned with إِذَا. وَعُبِّرَ عَنْهُ بِالْمَاضِي, and we bring ماضي after that in the shart. إِذَا جَاءَت يعني ماضي فعل ماضي. وَلِقَوْنِ مَجِيءِ السَّيِّئَةِ نَادِرًا, and because the sayyi'ah here is happening, is rare. إِذِ الْمُرَادُ بِهَا نَوْءٌ مَخْصُوص, because the sayyi'ah here, what we intend with it is a particular sayyi'ah, particular bad stuff, bad occurrence, bad omen. كَمَا يُفْحَمُ مِنَ التَّنْكِيرِ, as it is understood from the nakira being used. وَإِن تُصِبْهُمْ سَيِّئَةٌ, not al-sayyi'atu. Right? وَهُوَ الْجَدْبُ, that is the barrenness of the land. Even barrenness of the womb is also al-jadb. ذُكِرَ مَعَ إِن, and so due to the fact that this sayyi'ah is something that rarely happens, it was mentioned with in, right? وَعُبِّرَ عَنْهُ بِالْمُضَارِعِ, and فعل مضارع comes after it. وَإِن تُصِبْهُمْ يعني تصيبوا, right? فعل مضارع. ففي الآية من وصفهم بإنكار النعم وشدة التحامل على موسى عليه السلام ما لا يخفى. يعني you can see clearly that the ni'am, the blessings that they are getting in the ayah itself shows that they get a lot of blessings, and with the blessings they don't say it is Moses alayhi salam that is causing it for us to have it. But when something evil that is rare happens once, then they say it is Musa that is causing it. Jamil says walau, that is in and either. Now we look at law. This one will be a lengthy lesson, lengthier than our usual lessons, but we have to capture it once. It doesn't have breaks. walau للشرط في المضي, as it has already been said. ولذا يليها الفعل الماضي, and so with the law, فعل ماضي comes after it. ولو علم الله فيهم خيرا لأسمعهم. ولو علم الله فيهم خيرا لأسمعهم. If Allah saw any good in them, he would have made them hear. And you can check the verse out for the whole ayah. Says ومما تقدم يعلم أن المقصود بالذات من الجملة الشرطية هو الجواب. So when you look at a jumla shartiyya, right, a conditional sentence, al-maqsood, what is intended in the jumla is the jawab. So you have jumla to shart, then you have jawab shart, right? The intended, the focus in the jumla is the jawab. How? Because when I say if you pass the exams, I would give you a phone, right? The main sentence, I would give you a phone, but then it has been given qaid. It has been given a condition, which is if you pass the exams. But my main statement is I would give you a phone, but under this condition. So the main sentence is the جواب الشرط. That is what he means by ومما تقدم يعلم أن المقصود بالذات من الجملة الشرطية هو الجواب. فإذا قلت إن اجتهد زيد أكرمته, if Zaid strives hard, I'll honor him. كنت مخبرا بأنك ستكرمه. You are now informing that you would honor Zaid. ولكن في حال حصول الاجتهاد, but then in the particular situation of he being hardworking, لا في عموم الأحوال, not in general situation, right? So you are doing قيد of your جملة خبرية. ويتفرع على هذا أنها تعد خبرية أو إنشائية باعتبار جوابها. So when you look at a جملة الشرط, right? You have the جملة الشرط and then you have the جواب الشرط. You want to determine is it خبرية or إنشائية. You look at the جواب الشرط. The جواب الشرط is the one that shows you whether it is خبرية or whether it is إنشائية. جميل. So if I say something like إذا فعلت كذا, إذا فعل أخوك كذا اضربه is of course إنشائية, right? إذا فعل أخوك كذا سأعطيه مالا. أعطيه مالا is خبرية. So you look at the جواب الشرط. جميل. So that is that with the الشرط. Now we look at the النفي. النفي is not that much. وأما النفي فالتقييد به يكون بسلب النسبة على وجه مخصوص مما تفيده أحرف النفي وهي 6. The أحرف النفي they are 6. We have لا, ما, إن, لن, لم and لما, right? So with the taqyid you look at the nafi. The nafi is used to strip the relationship between the mubtada and the khabar. Like I say al-walad tawilun, then I say lal walad tawilun, something like that. I'm breaking the link that I created, right? So it gives the salb nisbah, taking away the relation. يأكل الولد, لم يأكل الولد. يأكل الولد, the boy is eating, right? لم يأكل الولد, I'm cutting the يأكل and the ولد. سلب النسبة. فلا, the لا للنفي مطلقا. لا is used for نفي مطلقا, يعني no time specific. لا is not for ماضي, مضارع or anything. It is نفي مطلقا, goes for ماضي, مضارع, أحمر and all that. وما وإن لنفي الحال إن دخل على المضارع. In and ma, they are used for negating current action if they come into contact with fi'l mudari. ولن لنفي الاستقبال. These are all nahu. I think basically they are stuff that are nahu. لن لنفي الاستقبال, as we saw, to negate in the future. ولما لنفي المضي إلا أنه بلما. This is also one very important aspect of the whole thing. دقيقة عفوا. So this is also one very important aspect of it with the lamma and the lam. It says لنفي المضي, they are for negating the past, right? إلا أنه بلما, with the lamma ينسحب على زمن التكلم. Look, the lamma, it negates to the point where you are speaking. So when you say هل جاء الأستاذ, then I say lamma, means he is yet to. So as to the time that I'm speaking, it is negative. So ينسحب على زمن التكلم, it applies up to the time of you speaking. lamma. ويختص بالمتوقع. يختص بالمتوقع. It's specifically for something that is expected. Yani, if I say he's yet to, but I'm not saying he's not coming at all. Yani, there is an expectation that he will be coming. There is an expectation that he will be coming with the lamma. وعلى هذا فلا يقال لما يقم زيد ثم قام. You cannot say لما يقم زيد ثم قام. It's a wrong sentence. Because when you say لما يقم زيد, it means that Zaid, as at the point you are speaking, has not gotten up. So when you say ثم قام and then he got up, it's a wrong sentence. Zaid hasn't gotten up as at the point I'm speaking. How did he ثم قام? يعني كلام لا ينطبق مع العقل. ولا and he says لما يجتمع النقيضان. You cannot say لما يجتمع النقيضان. النقيض, that is the opposite of something. يعني نقيض of something is those things that do not meet. Jamil. So when you say لما يجتمع النقيضان, it's like you are expecting the opposites to meet. No, it's the wrong sentence. I say لم يجتمع النقيضان. لم يجتمع النقيضان. Can I say لما يجتمع النقيضان? It's a wrong sentence. Because يختص بالمتوقع. It is specifically for something that is expected to happen. كما يقال لم يقم, as he said لم يقم ثم قام. That you can say لم يقم, he did not get up, ثم قام, and then he got up. That is fine. ولم يجتمع, يعني لم يجتمع النقيضان. لم يجتمع النقيضان. That is also correct. لم. فلما في النفي تقابل قد في الإثبات. لما in negation is like قد in affirmation. لما in negation is like قد in affirmation. وحينئذ يكون منفيها قريبا من الحال. فلا يصح لما يجيء محمد في العام الماضي. Because when you use the قد, you know قد, we use قد as well. Like you say قد قامت الصلاة, يعني salah is about to take place. قد قامت الصلاة. Salat is about to take place. Right? Likewise the lamma. Lamma comes to the point of, the negation comes to the point where you are speaking and shows that you are expecting the thing to happen. Right? Now, بعد ذلك, can you now say لما يجيء محمد في العام الماضي. Muhammad is yet to come in the last year. The kalam, يعني, even with translation, it doesn't make sense. Muhammad is yet to come in the last year. It doesn't make sense. You can use it like that. وأما التوابع, as for التوابع as well, as he mentioned them as part of the what's it called, the التقييد, the أدوات التقييد. توابع, as we know them, says يكون للأغراض التي تقصد منها, يعني it's just understandable by itself. فالنعت يكون للتمييز. You use the na'at to specify specifically which one do you intend. نحو حضر علي الكاتب. If you say حضر علي, there could be a lot of Ali, right? But when you say حضر علي الكاتب, Ali the writer, now you've used the writer to set him apart. أنت ميزت أي من العلي تقصد. جميل. والكشف, the نعت or صفة is also used for كشف, like الجسم الطويل العريض العميق يشغل حيزا من الفراغ. يشغل حيزا من الفراغ. A body that is tall, عريض, wide, deep, it occupies a lot of space. Now this al-tawil, al-arid, al-amiq, this sifat that you are bringing, you bring them to kind of reveal the jism that you are intending. So na'at comes for that purpose. And then at-ta'kid nahu, tilka asharatun kamila. Na'at sometimes comes for ta'kid, emphasis. Tilka asharatun kamilatun. The kamila is a sifa for the ashara, but it is to emphasize it. Na'at sometimes comes for madh. Nahu hadara Khalidun al-hammam aw himmam. Khalid the zuhimma hadara, and he has a lot of himma. With them, sometimes it is used to also diss, D-I-S-S. وَمْرَأَتُهُ حَمَّالَةَ الْحَطَبِ. حَمَّالَةَ الْحَطَبِ is a noun for the وَمْرَأَتُهُ, but it is brought for the purpose of azam. I think we've once spoke about why it is a mansub here, when the man'ut is marfu, right? We spoke about it somehow. You could check the i'rab of the Quran, or maybe one day we speak about it again. والترحم, and also for الترحم نحو أحسن إلى خالد المسكين. Al-miskin here is to show yani affection for Khalid. Be good to Khalid, the poor one. So nat is used for all these purposes. Jamil. And then this will be the end page for us. وعطف البيان يكون لمجرد التوضيح. عطف البيان, as well as we saw, which is very close to the badal, right? أقسم بالله أبو حفص عمر. This is also a bait. He brings the Sadr al-Bayt. The Ajz al-Bayt says, he says, أقسم بالله أبو حفص عمر ما مسها من نقب ولا دبر. Yeah. So this is a story of somebody that goes to Sayyidina Umar, the Khalifa, and then he tells him, my camel has issue, right? The back of the camel is sick. The camel's foot is paining or is weak and all that. Then Sayyidina Umar said, Sayyidina Umar was severely, he was those kind of accountants that were very careful, you know, with the state money. So he swore that the man is lying, right? When the man left the place, he went crying out, and the man started singing this abiyat. أقسم بالله أبو حفص عمر ما مسها من نقب ولا دبر فاغفر له اللهم إن كان فجر. Umar, Abu Hafs, which is the same as Umar. So Umar here is atf bayan. It is to explain the Abu Hafs. Jamil. So here it comes for the purpose of tawdih. Abu Hafs, which one? Umar, to clarify, right? So he says that Abu Hafs has sworn that my animal, riding animal, is not facing these problems. But I know his swearing here is wrong. So, oh Allah, forgive him when it is morning and everybody realizes that what I said was true. Jamil. And it is said of the story that it was realized and said Umar made it up to him. أو للتوضيح مع المدح. Clarification and praises. نحو جعل الله الكعبة البيت الحرام قياما للناس. جعل الله الكعبة. Kaaba. Then a sifa is brought. Al-Bayt al-Harama is a sifa for Kaaba, but it's a sifa for al-Madh, praising the house. Jamil. Says ويكفي في التوضيح أن يوضح الثاني الأول عند الاجتماع. In when we say tawdih, it is enough for the second now to just clarify the first one when the two are brought together. وإن لم يكن أوضح منه عند الانفراد. So the second noun might not be any clearer if used alone than the first noun. But when they are brought together, the second clarifies the first. It doesn't necessarily need to mean that the second one is more clearer than the first. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that. كعلي زين العابدين. Ali Zainul Abidin. Zainul Abidin. The Zainul Abidin is a clarification for the Ali. But Zainul Abidin isn't any more clearer than the Ali itself. But when they come together, the second clarifies the first more. And then Al-Azjadu Zahab. Al-Azjad, as we saw somewhere, is gold. Al-Zahab is gold. So you bring the Al-Zahab to clarify it. وعطف النسق يكون للأغراض التي تؤديها أحرف العطف كالترتيب مع التعكيب في الفاء ومع التراخي في ثم. This ones I wouldn't stress so much. The عطف النسق is where we use the حرف العطف واو, fa, and thumma. Now the purpose that the wa comes, يعني, it doesn't show any tartib, مجرد الجمع, and then the fa shows a ta'qib, يعني one happening right after the other, and thumma shows that one is happening a bit later. That is the tarahi, right? والبدل يكون لزيادة التقرير والإيضاح. When you use the badal is just like the atf al-bayan, right? It clarifies more, it affirms. نحو قدم ابني علي قدم ابني علي في بدل الكل. يعني قدم ابني علي, my son Ali. This is what we call the badal al-kull. The Ali is the whole of the ibn, right? And the ibn is the whole of the Ali. Then we have safar al-jundu aglabuhu. The military or the soldiers traveled, most of them, or the army traveled, most of it. So not the whole of the army that is intended. We bring aglabuhu as a badal ba'd min al-kullu to clarify that is some that travel. So it does tawdih, right? And then we say وَنَفَعَنِي الْأُسْتَاذُ عِلْمُهُ. The ustaz benefited me. His knowledge, not his money or anything, his knowledge. في بدل الاجتمال. We call this بدل الاجتمال when the badal you bring is something that is inside, it is innate of the mubdal minhu. So ilm of the ustaz is not something you can take the ustaz and take it out like a limb or something, right? So we call this badal al-ijtimal. Jamil. Then this brings us to the end of this particular one. It's been a lengthy one, but it's very healthy like this. If there are any points of confusion, do not hesitate to call for clarification. And I think this will be the last one we'll be taking from here, and then we'll go back to our material, original one, and do the last topic, and we are done with ilm al-ma'ani, inshallah. Till we meet on that particular topic, have a very good Arabic time. Do not hesitate to ask questions if anything is confusing. Inshallah, till we meet again, have a very good Arabic time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.